The Ghana grid company, GRIDCo, has confirmed that the current power outages in some parts of the country is due to its inability to supply the Electricity Company of Ghana with the power needed to supply consumers. Now, there has been erratic power supply to parts of the country, with stakeholders warning doomsday may be returning. GRIDCo says this challenge is simply because there is no gas to power the thermal plants. Jifa Bampo is Corporate Communications Manager at GRIDCo.
So currently, GRIDCo, as far as we are aware, as the transmission entity and as the entity that manages the national grid, we are aware of some commercial challenges with supply in reference to gas. When we say commercial challenges, it means there are agreements, payments, negotiations that need to be done with the gas suppliers. So really, that has nothing to do with that. But the challenge is once there is a drop in supply as a result of those bottlenecks, it affects generation capacity, and then ultimately it affects transmission as well. So for us, we are unable to provide the full quantum of power supply that ECG would need for demand in country. And that's just because there are these commercial issues related to the gas and government. Those need to be addressed. Then, if we get the full quantum of gas supply as we normally do, then we can address mission issues. Usually, what would happen is if Sunon Asogi was operating, they were operating because they would have received a supply of gas. However, if they have chosen not to operate, as I understand is their decision, that would have gone to them would just be reallocated to other suppliers who use gas for their thermal plants. So it doesn't really have anything to do with the recent outages. The current outages we've all experienced, including myself, is really just because we don't have the full quantum of gas supply, indigenous gas supply in Ghana, to meet our demand needs. And that is the reason why we are seeing these challenges. As soon as government is able to address the commercial issues with the gas producers and suppliers, then we should be okay. That is for in-country. So this has nothing to do with gas as well. It's about our suppliers in country and their negotiations and requirements from government. That has nothing to do with GRIDCo.
Let's go on the phone lines now and speak to the former Deputy Power Minister, John Jinapor. He's also a member of the Energy Committee in Parliament. Thank you for your time here on Newsdesk. Let's get a sense of what has actually happened. GRIDCo says
thank you very much.
They don't have gas to power the thermal plants to provide us with electricity. You've been in meetings with government. Explain to us what exactly is happening.
Well, our checks, incontrovertible, confirms that GRIDCo has been shedding load over the past 1 week, and that is going to get worse from today. There are two main reasons, and like GRIDCo put it, the first challenge is the issue of fuel. Because consumption is increased, the gas that we bequeath to this government is unable to meet the gas supply needs. And so government has been procuring light crude oil at a cost of about $40 million every month. But because of the current financial situation, government is unable to support the power sector players to procure light crude oil. And so as we speak, there is shortage of light crude oil. So even when the plants are available, because of inadequate fuel, they are unable to generate enough power to meet domestic needs. Two is that Asogle has also decided to shut down its plants, more than 500 megawatts. And so that creates a huge shortfall. And so the combined effect of these two unfortunate situations has led to a significant reduction in the supply of power, culminating in what we call doomsday or load shedding. And this has been ongoing for about 1 week. There is a solution. And the solution is in two folds. Firstly, the president must intervene and plead with Asogle to turn back their power plants. But that can only be done if some significant payment is made to Asogris, because as it stands, they have indicated that they cannot operate because of financial difficulty. Secondly, government must find some money so they can procure some light crude oil. But going forward, it means that the next government must ensure that we really accomplish the gas to power era that we all envisage. Without that solution, we'll keep having these fuel challenges and we'll keep having this load shedding that we are experiencing intermittently. And for me, that is where we ought to be focusing.
As at your last meeting with government, is this something they're considering?
Yes, at our last meeting, at that time, Honorable Atashian was then the chairman. It came to light that, indeed, they've been shedding load since January. And the principal problem, once again, was fuel. And so the committee recommended that they restore the cash water flow mechanism. The Ministry of Finance owes more than $2 billion for power consumed by MMDAs. It's not been paid. So we encourage government to pay that money so that the power sector players can have some money to procure fuel. My latest check indicates that the debt has now gone up to $2.2 billion. And the Ministry of Finance hasn't made any payment. ENI has reduced gas supply because payment is not being made to ENI. Indeed, ENI has withdrawn some services and also drawn down on the LC by $500 million, and that is backstopped by the World Bank. And so that has serious ramifications. Our power has also drawn down the LC, the Litasco LC, $170 million. And so the sector is crumbling. What I see this government do is that because we are left with just about 1 month, they are adopting what I call palliative measures, just to manage it and dump it to the next administration. Be that as it may, I think that the next government must prepare for a very, very difficult and Herculean task when it comes to the energy sector. Our estimate shows that we need more than $2 billion to clear that pipeline. And that's very, very worrying going forward.
But in your briefing, ECG, they went on a revenue collection exercise. This was supposed to help them with collection of revenues, to help provide the needed funds for the cash waterfall mechanism to work effectively. What happened to that?
Indeed, ECG made some significant collections based on that revenue drive. But if you read the PRC report, they indicated that the money did not come through the cash waterfall mechanism. So the money was not accounted for. The money cannot be traced, and we cannot tell exactly how that money was used. The ECG MD then indicated that the Minister of Finance directed him to procure some light crude oil outside the remit of the cash waterfall mechanism. And that creates a huge problem. And that was just a drop, because I guess what they did was to collect some outstanding bills. Once you collect that, you come back to normalcy. And now, with all the losses we are witnessing, which is about 32%, it clearly tells you that the sector is indeed bleeding. This government has failed to address the challenges, the situation and the problems is exacerbated. Now we are in load shedding, even though they don't want to. That they are shedding load. The truth is that the sector is crumbling. The debt keeps mounting. All the LCs have been called. All the guarantees called. And so technically, Ghana is in default. And at this stage, my worry is that the energy sector is on the verge of collapse.
John Jinapo, ranking member of the Energy Committee in Parliament, thank you for your time here on Newsdesk. Now.